Hello guys, welcome to Interactive Python with Francis. This is another series where we're actually going to talk about a lot of the basics. So remember in part two we actually talked about list and we did a lot with list, and you can see if you check from the previous video from up there, you could see that we actually talked about all that we could do with list. We actually um, manipulated list. We also talked about int, float, complex, and we did a lot about list here. So in this session, we are going to talk about tuple, range, dictionary, search, frozen search. We're going to discuss about all of that in this session. So let's first of all let's wrap this, get this off for now, and let's start from scratch. So in list, you realize that we could actually um, we put list in square brackets like we have right here, and you can also extend list, so you can add one list to another list by using the extend keyword. So remember we did that, and in this session we're actually going to look up tuple first. So tuple in Python, so let me remove this so that we could actually focus on tuple. Okay, so in Python, tuple is used to store multiple items in single variables. So simple tuple actually uses the round brackets. So it means it uses this bracket. Alright, so let me let me clear this first. Okay, so it's a tuple. So it means we're talking about this bracket. Right. So everything we're going to store will be we use this bracket. There are instances whereby we may want to use other options where we introduce maybe a type, or we introduce um, different element to find a class of the details we or the data set we try to store. And this so tuple, what a tuple actually does is it's actually a collection which is ordered and unchangeable. So it means tuple is actually written with round brackets, just like we have here. The content we put in there cannot be changed, and that can be used in multiple. Unlike list, where we can actually um, add some values, concatenate, extend the tuple, we can whatever we can store is actually ordered, but it's unchangeable. All right. So what we can do, how we can store data in tuple, or how we can manipulate tuple, we can say, for instance, we can have this. This is tuple. All right. And this tuple, now we introduce a bracket like this. We can have you can store data by either in strings or in integers or any kind of data at all. Tuple actually allows that. So if you want to store data like in the orange, the kiwi, right? So these are string data, and we can actually store, I think, the orange. Let's spell it wrongly. Okay, these are the data we can actually store. So this is actually a variable, but let's make the first the next words in capital. So anyway, we are creating a variable. The first keyword with small letters. The rest of them, the first letter starts with capital. So that's the difference. That is how to create a variable. All right. So this is a simple example of a tuple, and this is how we create tuple in this instance. So tuples are items are also ordered, changeable, and allow duplicate in instances. So items that are can be indexed at each stage of the, so we can say that we can index tuple in that instance, and actually also allows duplicate, so we can have double kiwi here, so we can have another kiwi in this instance. Yeah, I typed wrong stuff, so we can have kiwi here as well. So tuple actually allows duplicate. There are some sets, there are some data types that doesn't allow duplicate, and we're going to see that we saw that we could also do duplicate with list, and it's also available in tuple. So this is one of the data types in Python that you might use as long as you go on to write various Python data. You're going to need that. You're going to need this to store actually a lot of Python data. So you can also check you can determine how many items are within this list by using the len keyword. So here we can come in state print, and in here we can actually print this len, and then we can make reference to the data type or the variable we created. So this is the variable, this tuple is a variable name we actually created. So now if you come here and you run Python name.py. Okay, so the Python was spelled wrongly. Now we can actually have the total number of data we have in here. All right, so this is how we can manipulate tuple. We can also have different data sets stored in here. So we can have something like maybe n equals, so n equals maybe another set of data like maybe numbers. All right, so we can use tuple to store this. You can also use tuple to store boolean, so we can have maybe n2. All right, so as well, also use to store it, so we can have true, we can have false, we can also have true again. All right, so tuple also allows us to store boolean. So boolean is either using true or false, and we can use tuple to also do that. We can also use tuple to store different data types in the same set, or we can have different data type representing. So we can have strings, we can have int, we can have boolean, all of them inside data. So we can have n3 equals, we can have maybe like name. All right, so this is a string, so name. And we can have 23, we can have 56, we can have true, we can have false. All right, there we can. So we can have data's strings and ints and boolean or mixed in the same tuple actually allows that as well. So it means that you can actually save or represent multiple data with tuple. This is another amazing part about tuple and what you can do with tuple. So if we want to know what type of data we have in here, let's say if we should n3 here. All right, so we can have, if we should bring the keyword here, and we should bring, let's say n3. All right, it's going to tell us that this is actually a boolean, so we should run this Python main.py that we created. The name of the file we created is going to see that gives us okay. So it says okay, we actually have len here, so we have to take that keyword out. All right, so we can represent two at the same time. So this is type. So if we want to know the type, now we can run the type, and then realize that it tells us that this is class tuple. All right. So that is how we can actually represent different data types with tuple. So this is one of the data types in Python that you come across in multiple instances, and it's very useful depending on what kind of data you want to store. Another data type we're going to talk about in this instance, we can also how we can access by tuple. Let's also look at how we can access tuple. So to access tuple, let's say that we want to access any of the data over here. We can use index. So we can, instead of we can use index here. So you can have maybe um, can have something like n3. Let's use n3 for example, and we can make reference to it using index. So we can use index. By using index, you need to bring the square bracket, and we check the index or the kind of the data we want. So let's say if we want name, it means we have to use index 0 because it starts from 0. And now when we run it, see that it's going to give us that index. All right, so it gave us name by using 0. If we want maybe 2, or if we want to 153, means we need to use index 2, and it's going to pick up that data from within that. So you see that it gives us 56. That's what we have. So it means this is 0, 1, 2 from the way the computer reads this data. All right. So that is how it is. So if you want index maybe 4, and we come and run it, so now it's going to give us index 4, which index 4 here is false. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So that is how we can actually access data using index. So it means that we can actually use index. So we can use index to access tuple. All right, that is one part we can actually do, or how we can access tuple. We can also use negative index. So let's say that by using, instead of using 4, we can use negative 4. So this will actually allow tuple to pick the data from the last part or the last item. So in case this is the last item, so if you run this, seeing that it gives us 56, that is the last item before. So we are talking about, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 4, it's true. But so as soon as we use the negative, it's going to pick the last item before the fourth number. All right, so that is how you can do. You can also use range. So you can have maybe um, 2 to 4. By we making reference to, we are saying that we are accessing the data by making reference to the second data, which is this, and the fourth, or the one before the fourth, right? So it means if you run this, you see that it's going to give us 56 and true. So now when you run it, you see 56 and true. So this is the second one, and this is the one before the fourth. All right. So okay. So we can use range to do that as well. Then we can also make reference to a range by actually using the return. This is not included by. So it means we are saying that we are talking about the data that is up to 4, but not included. So if you should run this, let's see what we're going to get. We're going to give us data that is the first one, 0, 23, 56, true, but it's not going to include the fourth. All right, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3. So false will be the fourth, but because we say that if you give us all the numbers that is before 4, so this is not going to include 4. All right, so that is how we can also access tuple using that. The same way we can also do it the other way around, where we can have maybe the second one. So we can say that all data is after the second. So it means if we should run it, it's going to give us data after second. So it means if we come here, we see that we have 0, 1. This is the second one. So this is all data after 2. So So here means everything here will be printed. So you can see from here that it uses 56, true, false, error. Alright, that is how it is. So that is how we can access tuple. We can also access tuple um, with an if condition. So we can say that we can use a simple if statement to say that let's say if um, let's make reference to any of the data in here. So we have name. So if name inside that data in if name in n3, making reference to the set n3 that we have created. So if name in n3, then we can say that should print yes or no if it is in n3. So we're saying that if name is in n3, we can say that it should print it for us or it should show us something. So we can say that okay, if name is in n3, then we can say yes, name is in n3. All right, so this here is our name and this is our n3. So let me actually make, because we're actually going to deal with this entire data. So it means that if I want to use another quotation in here, it has to be single line quotations so that it doesn't conflict with, because we put an entire um, details in a string. This is entirely a string. So we can make reference to specific string inside another string in between that. Put the one that is inside that same string in single quotations and the main ones in double quotations, or we can do vice versa to be able to um, for, for Python to recognize what you're actually talking about. So it means this is what we're making reference to this name here, that by using our if condition. All right. So here, if we say to print this, it means that it's going to make reference to this name. So now if we should run this, you're going to see that okay, so because this print is still working, so it prints that for us here, it prints the range for us, and it also say yes, name is an n3. All right, so we actually did use it to make reference to it, but we can also, you can have a different name. We can say that maybe a different instance, or we can have different data types to print. All right, so this is a simple way by which we can manipulate tuple in Python. Right, so this is tuple in Python, and this is how we can actually manipulate that. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about, next data type we're going to talk about is set. So before we actually go, what if we can also use methods to access tuple, or we can also use something like a loop to access tuple? So let's try methods first. So we can use methods to actually work on tuple. Python has two inbuilt um, methods that can be used on tuples. So one of them is actually count. The next one is index. So we can actually use it to access tuple. So it means that we can use it to count the tuple we have. So realize that in this instance we have this n3. So if we should make n3, we can say n3 here is what we have dot count. So it means we can use it to count the total number of data set in here. So we should run this. So okay, so it tells us yeah, let me see. Okay, I think there's a bit of error. All right, so nevertheless, I think that is how we can also use it. All right, so let's go and look at sets now. So sets in Python is also as cool as we use list and tuple. So sets are actually used to also store multiple items in a single variable. What set what set does differently from tuple is that it's actually a collection which is unordered, is unchangeable, and is also unindexed. So we realize that with tuple we could actually access our tuple with index, but we can't do that with set. Set actually is unindexed, which means that we can actually access the data with index. All right, so that's what makes it different from the rest. Other than that, you can actually store different types of data with set, just like you can do with tuple. So set actually uses this curly bracket like this. So seeing that in tuple, we actually did use um, round brackets. In list, we use square bracket. With sets, we use curly brackets. Okay, so that is how we actually represent set. So we can store different data types in set. We can store strings. Let's say some. We can store. We can also add numbers. We can also add boolean. So these are all also data types you can actually store with set. All right. So it means that if you take this comment out, we can actually make reference to this set. So this will be equal to this data type. So we can actually print set. All right. So this says is what we're talking about. All right. So now if you run this, it's going to actually teach us this set. So let me clear this out. Okay, so using that set, we can also use sets to print different data types in Python. So we're also going to use all of these data sets in a project where we can see how all of them is used in real time. We're going to use some list, we're going to use tuple, we're going to use set in all of those instances so that you can see how we actually apply in projects in real time. All right, so this is so if you want to know, if you want to be sure if this is set, we can also introduce a type. Remember, we can do the type to check if this is set, and see that when we do that, we can actually, if you run it, it's going to give us this type set. All right, so this is the various ways by which you can represent set, and this is also another important data type. So comparing all of this, list is actually a collection which is ordered and changeable. So it means with list we can is ordered and is changeable. All right, so that is okay. I can change it. Changeable. Yeah. So list is actually ordered and changeable. Tuple is a collection which is ordered but unchangeable. So tuple in this instance is ordered but but is unchangeable. All right, so you can see the difference that list is ordered and is changeable. Tuple is ordered but is unchangeable. And if we talk about set, set is also a collection which is unordered. So it means set is actually unordered, is actually unchangeable, and it's on index as well. So it's on index. um, it also doesn't allow duplicates. So it doesn't allow duplicate. So it does not allow duplicates. Okay, so in all of it, um, list allows duplicates. So list actually allows duplicate, and the same way tuple also allows duplicates. But we realize that set doesn't allow duplicates, and it also doesn't allow, but we can also access list with index. We also saw that we can also access tuple with index, but um, this is this actually is no index, unordered, unchangeable, no index, and it doesn't allow duplicate. So that is what makes it different. So that is what makes um, this type of data type. So there's one data type that I also left out called dictionary. So dictionary is also another amazing data type, which is also used to store data in what we call dictionary. Okay, which we call value, um, key value pairs. So it stores data in key value pairs. Means that whatever dictionary stores actually is it comes with a key and a value. All right. So dictionary it also stores data and it's ordered. So it means it is ordered and changeable. So it's ordered and changeable. All right. So that is what actually makes the list changeable. All right. But it also doesn't actually allow duplicates. So it also has no duplicates. All right, so this is the various data types in Python and how. So let's look at dictionary in this instance, a bit about dictionary so that we can also see how it works. So dictionary means that, let's say that we want to stay. So let me cancel this out. So I can say this, or you can just say dictionary. All right. Dictionary one. All right. So this dictionary, so it shows that I must spell it well. Okay. This dictionary is going to come with curly brackets. So inside this curly bracket, the same as is an example, or it's similar to storing data with JSON if you use JSON. So it kind of falls within similar line. So it means here we're going to have, let's say we want to have um, fruits or something. We can have maybe fruits group. All right. So we can say fruit, and this fruits is going to be maybe um, citric. All right. So citric. Um, let me say the citrus. All right, that's the spelling. Okay, hey, pardon with me. So yeah, I think I've missed my spelling. Right. So citrus fruits. Right. So it means here I can come in here and then okay. So I've not put this. I have to also put this into quotation. All right, like that. Okay. So now I can now this is I can also give maybe fruit type or fruit type, so maybe type. It also has to be in quotation, so type, and this type could be maybe orange. All right, so this is how we actually store dictionary. So you can see that I have this comes with a key and a value. That is why we say it stores in key value pairs for Python. So that is um, dictionary for you, and that is how important it is. If you want to find out if it is, you can also do print, and we can actually do type, and we can check to see if it actually dictionary. So the dictionary run, and if you run this type, it's going to tell us if it's dictionary. All right. So you see that it tells us class dict. So by DICT, by the shortcut, it means it's talking about dictionary. All right. So this is a data set that actually you can use to store data in key value pairs. So dictionaries are actually used to store data in key value pairs, and it's actually ordered, just like we said, it's ordered. And it also changeable. It means you can change it. So it's changeable, and it also allows duplicate. All right. So you can see that of all the data types we have, from um, apart from the numbers and the string, that is apart from the int, the float, the complex, and the string. These four are a bit different and has a lot of other things like tuple, like list, dictionary sets, and dictionary actually uses um, square brackets, curly brackets like we have, just like we have with set. It also uses curly brackets. But you see that set actually uses square brackets and tuple also uses round brackets. So that is what makes it a bit different from the rest of the data types we have. So this is um, a little bit about the data types we have in Python, and this is how they are represented, and you can quickly get a good grasp of it by watching this video and the previous video before now to see more about list. You can see that how to access dictionary. You to access dictionary, you can use a simple example could be to make reference to a specific part of the dictionary we want. We can also use a keyword called get keyword. So to use the get keyword, it means we can come here. If you use, we can use print and make reference to the particular section of the data we want. So because it comes in key value pairs, we can have maybe the type. We can have different data stores in here. Maybe the fruit, the type. We can also have um, maybe other. Alright, we can have other. Could be maybe what other fruit comes to my kiwi is what comes first. Okay, so we can have kiwi as well. So whenever we actually um, write in another data, we must bring a comma here, so you can see that we did for all of it. So the first one, when we're done with it, we bring the comma, and must do a search for the next. So to be able to access any part of this data, we can actually make reference to the data from here to say that, okay, so now that we've created this data, this is actually a dictionary. To access, we can actually create a variable and make reference to it. So you can say that maybe b equals dictionary. Dictionary1 is what we have. So that is the main the variable we stored. And we can make reference to the get keyword. So get. So now if you say get, now we can now make reference to which part of the data we want, or what kind of data we want. So we can say, okay, maybe we want a fruit. Alright, so if you want fruit, then it means you can come here and make reference to b here. B is the variable we are actually using to get the information. So now if you run this, you see that it's going to give us the citrus. So fruits, the value of fruit is actually citrus. So we've seen that gives us citrus. If we change this to maybe type as well, if you run this, you see that it's going to give us the value. You see that gives us the value of orange. It should the same way. All right, so that is how we can actually access um, dictionary. Then we can also use keys. So where we can get the key, so we see that here we actually use the key to get the value. We can also use the get a keys. That is, we can use the keys method, which will return the list of all the keys in the dictionary. All right. So it means these are all the keys. These are all the values. All right. So it means we can actually use a keys keyword to get all the data we have. All right. So it means we can just come here and make reference to the the one we want by changing this here to maybe key. So by doing that, it means we just actually instead of using the get, we use the keyword key method to actually make reference to this detail. So with these keys, it means that what we are trying to look for is we are looking for the keys of this dictionary data we have stored over here. So we state this key and we just come here and say, okay, so if you print this key for us by making reference to this data type we stored in here. So it means we're going to bring the dictionary or the variable name dot key, and then if you run this, you see that okay, so it says dictionary object not actually key. So it means that okay, so we let one, right? It's supposed to be keys, all right. So by reintroducing keys, that is making reference to all the value in here. So now you should run it. Okay, so you see that now it gives us the dictionary keys, of which it is food, type, order. So it gives us all the keys in here, as you can see. So that is how we can actually access all the keys in our data and as such. All right, so this is how simple it is working with Python, and you can also use, if you supposedly we also want to access all the value, we can also use the values method. So it means we can just change this to values. All right, then we can get all of this value if that is what you want. So if you run this, you see that it's going to give us all the values. So now you see that it gives us the dictionary values, which is the CTOs, orange cube. All right, so that is how we can actually access dictionary using Python. So this is how great it is working with Python, and you can see how we can get the different data types, how we can get information in and out of such. Now what we said was dictionary is actually is ordered, it's changeable, so it means we can change any of the key alongside. We can also duplicate, so we can have a duplicate of this data as well. Yeah, it allows that. All right, so we have to bring comma here, and then that gives us an error. So it means we can dictionary also allows it, but you know that it's the indentation is also very important in Python. So if we indent it like this, and then it gives us that red line, means that we have to indentation is not right. So it means we need to indent it well. All right. So this is a little bit about the data's items we have. Now we can also get items by using the items method. So this method will return each item a dictionary as a tuple in a list. So it means by we using this, if we use this, the items keyword, so it means all we need to do is we can change this value to items. What it's going to do is it's going to list all the items. That is going to list the entire data we have with both their key and the value. So if you come here, we should change this to items. So it means what we are doing is we're actually trying to access all the items inside of this. So it means we make reference to this. So it means it's going to be the name of the dictionary dot items. So now if you run this, see that okay, so see the command kiwi. Okay, so it sees this here as a duplicate in this instance, and it doesn't want, so it says order kiwi. It actually printed as model for us. So what we can do is let's say let me take this one out and let's print this out to see. Okay, so now let me rerun this, and okay, it says command order. So no, I was just putting up this keyword here. So I was wondering why. Okay, so yes, we can actually duplicate. So we have to bring Python mini.py. All right, and it should print it all for us. You can see that gives us the fruits, which is citrus, the type, which is orange, the other kiwi. All right, so it means it prints all of that for us. You can see it clearly. So it means if you use the items method, it's actually going to print the entire data in there for us. So that is how we can actually access dictionary in Python, and we see the multiple ways by which you can access every part of the data in there. There is also an option to actually determine if a specific key is present in a dictionary. If you want to know if any of this key is present in there, you can use the in keyword. The in keyword will help us to tell if any of these keys is available. For this, what we can do is we can actually introduce it inside an if statement. So we can come here and we say that if we have, let's say, if fruit. So because fruit is a string, we have to put it in quotation. So if fruit, which is this particular fruit, in. So if this fruit is in dictionary, dictionary is the variable we assign to this dictionary. So if it's inside this dictionary, it means that we can say that maybe print yes. All right. So it means that it's going to make reference to this dictionary we want. So, but this should actually be a string. So I'm going to make it put it in a quotation. All right. So let's say that if this fruit is inside this dictionary, then it should print yes. So now if you come here, you should run it. Oh, let me write. So normally I copy this so that I just paste it. So let me just come in. Let me clear this. Alright. So now if I should run it, you see that it says yes. And this one is still running. So we've seen that it has also printed that details right here. So it prints that yes, fruit is inside this dictionary. Right? So that is how we can actually use the in keyword to also access the key or specific part. So you can also say that maybe you should give us orange, right? So it means we come here and we can run this to see, and it tells us. Uh, so it means here we do not, it actually printed the value for us, so it's not printing the key for us, right? So it means you can actually use the in keyword to actually access the key, the value. So, all right, so that is how we can actually access this in here. So this is a simple introduction to Python to see all the various data types and see how cool it is using it. We can also have what we call nested dictionaries. So nested dictionaries actually contain dictionaries that is nested within other dictionaries. All right. So it means we can have a dictionary that is nested within other dictionaries, and we can so it can go on and on to um, find that in Python. So it means in nested dictionary, we can have more than one dictionary element, all right? And we can make reference to those dictionary to give us the details of those dictionary, all right? So it means we can have dictionary one, dictionary two, three, or we can have different data stored within the same dictionary and can make reference to it and be able to find out the specific information we are looking for in that. So let's say, for instance, we can have we can also have another key value pairs here. So we can have this key value pair is going to be okay. Actually, it's going to supposed to be in curly brackets. All right. this will be, so it means if I want to do that, it means I have to actually bring this outside of this, right? Okay, then I have to bring a comma here to tell. Okay. Oh no, I have to actually give a value, this a name, variable name to this. So it means this has to be maybe dictionary two, all right? Okay. So this dictionary two. Now I can actually circle this entire one with one. Um, okay. So now this dictionary and that dictionary are inside one big dictionary. All right. So let me see if there's something wrong here. Okay. So I forget to bring an equal to. All right. So okay, and also the indentation is not done right. So I think there's something else that I haven't done because I get an error here. So okay, so this is how we can actually nest other dictionaries. So it means we can bring other key value pairs in here. All right, so we can just copy the same key value pairs in here. All right, and we can check the indentation well. All right, so this is how we can actually nest dictionary inside another dictionary. All right, so that is how we end this session today. And we're going to, the next session, we're actually going to look at how we're going to implement all of this inside our data, and we can see how cool it is to go. All right, so this is how cool it is working with Python, how we can insert different database, different different dictionary inside another dictionary in there. All right, so I forget to bring this, so I think it's gives me an error. I'm still not sure why. Yes, so actually it means this one will have a different um indent entirely. So this will, or it can all have a different data in that instance. So this, we can now come here and make reference to maybe any of this dictionary in here. Maybe I can say that maybe H will be maybe equal to the entire dictionary. All right. So let me just make this entire dictionary. So or let me say dictionary 3. All right. So this dictionary 3, I can now make, I can now pick up a content of this dictionary 3. So the entire dictionary 3. Sorry, the equals has to be here instead. So equals to, and now I can actually pick up the values of these different um, dictionary 1 and 2 inside um, here. All right, so I can have dictionary 1, dictionary 2 indicated as dictionary 2. All right, and I can also have, then I can bring a bracket, and I can also have dictionary 1 as well as dictionary 1. So what I'm doing here is making reference to this dictionary 1 and 2 inside dictionary 3. So what it's going to do is going to actually combine the values of dictionary 1 and the values of dictionary 2. All right, the key value pairs in here. So now if I should run this, if I should come here and make reference to, let me clean this so that we can have clean here. If I should make reference to clean, this is actually going to make reference to, sorry on that. So it's actually going to make reference to the both dictionaries we have. So that is something I can just come and state dictionary 3. So this So now it's going to concatenate or add the values of these two dictionaries. All right. So if I should run this, oh, okay. Let me just find in print Python window 5. All right. So now, okay. So it says it's not usable. So yeah. Okay. So let me run it again. So yeah, I think I made another mistake. So okay. Yeah, I think that is it. So um, yeah, I'm trying to find out what could be the problem. Okay, so what is supposed to do? Okay, so I actually did not put this here into quotations, right? So you have to put this into quotations. Yeah, so I missed that part. Okay, I have to put this in quotation. All right, I have to do the same for this. Okay, I have to put this in quotations. Right, so that is how we start key value pairs with dictionary. Right, so now it should come and it should write Python main.py. Now you can see that it actually does that. It concatenates both dictionary detail. So and that. So it actually concatenates both that for me. So it now we realize that it only gives me, it only prints out this for me. It doesn't actually print the entire content of dictionary 1 and 2 for me. Okay. So also because dictionary 1 and 2 are actually the same key value pairs, so I just copied this in here. So it's just the same key value pairs that I just copied. So supposedly that maybe I have different um, details in there that you can also have it printed as such in that key format. So this is a clear, simple way to actually make reference to the database data types in Python. All right. So this is a little introduction to it, and we can. There are also other data types or data modules that you can also look more further. So you can read more about these data types in Python, and you can see how it works and how you can apply it. So in continuing to um, refresh our minds on data types, we can also use the if condition to understand more about the data types. So that's why we're going to look at if conditions in details in our next session. But before we go, let me just give you a little bit on if conditions. So Python if. So Python if conditions means it's more of like using different um, conditions to satisfy or to run a specific section of a program or to actually represent specific statements. So we can have an initial condition set, which could be either use an equal to, you can use greater than or less than sign to actually represent that particular data. And we can also write simple conditions, like maybe we can have something like if A is greater than or less than B, greater than B. This is a simple condition in Python. Then what we're going to do is to state the final condition of that. All right, so you can see that it even gives me a clear, so you can have something like this, and you can have an else if, and an else statement in there. So in the next video, we're actually going to talk more about this using if conditions in Python. All right, so see you on the next video and see how well we can actually delve more into this. Bye for now.